Please follow the sequence to understand well. Firstly, word. Secondly, word form. Thirdly, meaning of the word, and lastly, example sentence for the word. Able seaman. Noun. A sailor of lower rank in the British Navy. In the ocean. An able seaman could not see anything due to fog. A bomb. Noun. A bomb that explodes using the energy that is produced when an atom or atoms are split. When a bomb falls on the ground, the ground atmosphere gets hotter. Accord. Noun. A formal agreement between two organizations, countries, etc. An accord between two countries was that they would not engage in war anymore. Acting pilot officer. Noun. An officer of low rank in the British Air Force. Officer called upon an acting pilot officer to take care of the silo. Adjutant. Noun. An army officer who does office work and helps other officers. A British adjutant tried to flee a mosquito at night, thinking the shadow of the mosquito a monster. Admiral of the fleet. Noun. An admiral of the highest rank in the Navy. During the Second World War, the British admiral of every fleet was afraid of attack. Admiralty. Noun. The government department controlling the Navy. The Admiralty and the Navy decided that they would stop war in the passages of the oceans. Affray. Noun. A fight or violent behavior in a public place that disturbs the peace. The affray in the town center often causes chaos in the city. Aide-de-camp. Noun. An officer in the army or navy who helps a more senior officer. Najar was in the post of aide-de-camp who always aided the British Army. Air Chief Marshal. Noun. An officer of very high rank in the British Air Force. The Air Chief Marshal of Pakistan announced that some officers would be promoted. Air Commodore. Noun. An officer of high rank in the British Air Force. The Air Commodore of the British Air Force was very cautious of the war taking place between Israel and Iran. Aircraft carrier. Noun. A large ship that carries aircraft that use it as a base to land on and take off from. The U.S. aircraft carriers are sometimes furrowing through the seas. Aircrew. Noun. The pilot and other people who fly a plane. Especially in the Air Force. The aircrews in the plane tried their level best to protect it from being crashed on the ground in India. Air Force One. Noun. The name given to a special aircraft in the U.S. Air Force when the U.S. President is using it. Because of the security, the U.S. President usually uses Air Force One to travel here and there. Airgun. Noun. A gun that uses air pressure to fire small metal balls, called pellets. The children were shooting at the balloons with the small balls using the air guns. Air Marshal. Noun. An officer of very high rank in the British Air Force. The Air Marshal of Pakistan experienced a dogfight. Air Officer. Noun. Any one of the most senior officers in the British Air Force. The British Air Officer will take a decision regarding the bilateral training between UK and US. Air Pistol. Noun. A small gun that uses air pressure to fire small metal balls, called pellets. Children targeted the balloons with the air pistols. Air Rifle. Noun. A gun with a long barrel that uses air pressure to fire small metal balls, called pellets. Police fired with the air rifle at the people to prevent them from further clash. Air Vice Marshal. Noun. An officer of very high rank in the British Air Force. The Air Vice Marshal of India resigned from the post due to his health issues. Ambush. Noun. The act of hiding and waiting for somebody and then making a surprise attack on them. Some U.S. presidents became the victims of ambushes. Ambush. Verb. Ambush somebody, something to make a surprise attack on somebody, something from a hidden position. Very few presidents in U.S. history were ambushed. Ammo. Noun. Ammunition meaning a supply of bullets, etc., to be fired from guns. It is an informal use. In war, the US supplied ammo to the Israelis. Ammunition. Noun. A supply of bullets, etc., to be fired from guns. Media suspected China of supplying ammunition to Iran during the Israel-Iran war. Anarchism. Noun. The political belief that laws and governments are not necessary. A political force or movement based on this belief. Aggressive languages by the authority create anarchism in the states as well. Anarchist. Noun. A person who believes that laws and governments are not necessary. The anarchists of a state always try to generate chaos in the society to let it fall apart. Appease. Verb. Appease somebody, something to give a country what it wants in order to avoid war. If Iran failed to appease the USA, the US armies would destroy the people and the infrastructures of Iran. Armament. Noun. Weapons, especially large guns, bombs, tanks, etc. The USA armament of Israel encouraged Israel to clean Palestinians ethnically. Armistice. Noun. A formal agreement during a war to stop fighting and discuss making peace. A hearsay was heard about the armistice between Israel and Iran for 12 days. Armored. Adjective. Protected by metal covers. Some soldiers were armored with heavy steel jackets made of iron and a certain percent of carbon. Arms control. Noun. International agreements to destroy weapons or limit the number of weapons that countries have. The USA and Russia signed an arms control agreement to reduce the number of nuclear warheads. Assail. Verb. Assail somebody, something, with something. Means to attack somebody, something violently, either physically or with words. Iran's supreme leader assailed Israel's leader with their offensive languages. Attrition. Noun. A process of making somebody, something, especially your enemy, weaker by repeatedly attacking them or creating problems for them. Israeli army's attrition in the land of Iran escalated the violent and war conditions. Automatic. Noun. A gun that can fire bullets continuously as long as the trigger is pressed. The automatic firing of the armies injured many civilians in Iran. Ballistic missile. Noun. A missile that is fired into the air at a particular speed and angle in order to fall in the right place. Iran had launched a lot of ballistic missiles to Israel. Barracks. Noun. A large building or group of buildings for soldiers to live in. Many soldiers return to their barracks after the winter training. Battalion. Noun. A large group of soldiers that form part of a brigade. A battalion of a brigade participated in the local wild dog hunting mission. Battle-scarred. Adjective. A person or place that is battle-scarred has been in a war or fight and shows the signs of injury or damage. If we visit Iran and Israel just after the 12-day war, we will find a lot of battle-scarred places. Battleship. Noun. A very large ship used in war, with big guns and heavy armor. During the Iran and Israel war, a U.S. battleship was sent to the Middle East. Bayonet. Noun. A long, sharp knife that is fastened onto the end of a rifle and used as a weapon in battle. In the Liberation War of Bangladesh, Pakistani soldiers used their bayonet to injure Bengal fighters brutally. Bazooka. Noun. A long gun, like a tube in shape, which is held on the shoulder and used to fire rockets at military vehicles. Some militants like Hezbollah use bazooka to fire rockets at the Israelis. Belligerent. Adjective. Fighting a war. Israeli and American politicians are belligerent because they are responsible for some wars in the Middle East. Belligerent. Noun. A country or group that is fighting a war. Israel and American belligerents are aggressive and warmongers. Blackout. Noun. A period of time during a war when all lights must be put out or covered at night, so that they cannot be seen by an enemy attacking by air. To escape a jet fighter. Local people put all their lights out. Blitz. Noun. A sudden attack. Israel launched a blitz on Iran at the very early night. Blitz. Verb. Blitz something means to attack or damage a city by dropping a large number of bombs on it in a short time. At the very early night. Israelis blitzed Iran with many powerful fighter jets. Blockade. Noun. The action of surrounding or closing a place, especially a port, in order to stop people or goods from coming in or out. In war, participant countries usually try blockade to control themselves. Blockade. Verb. Blockade something means to surround a place, especially a port, in order to stop people or goods from coming in or out. During the bad days with Bangladesh, India blockaded Kolkata to deny any facility to Bangladeshi citizens. Bloodshed. Noun. The killing or wounding of people, usually during fighting or a war. The bloodshed of thousands of innocent people between Israel and Hamas was a very brutal act by Israeli politicians. Bombardier. Noun. The person on a military plane in the U.S. Air Force who is responsible for aiming and dropping bombs. The bombardiers of the U.S. Air Force released 2 atomic bombs in Japan. Breach. Noun. An opening that is created during a military attack or by strong winds or seas. There was a breach in the Iron Dome, which is an air defense system of Israel. Breach. Verb. Breach something means to make a hole in a wall, fence, etc., so that something can go through it. Iran breached into the Iron Dome of Israel during the 12 Days War. Bridgehead. Noun. A strong position that an army has captured in enemy land, from which it can go forward or attack the enemy. Israel generated a bridgehead in Iran to attack them. Brigade. Noun. A large group of soldiers that forms a unit of an army. In the war, no brigade was used since they mostly used missiles and fighter jets. Brigadier. Noun. An officer of high rank in the British Army. During the war, brigadiers of the British Army were very careful of the conflict. Brigadier General. Noun. An officer of high rank in the U.S. Army, Air Force or Marines. During the war, the Brigadier General of the British Army was very cautious of the conflict. Broadsword. Noun. A large sword with a broad flat blade. Thanos used a broadsword to fight in Marvel Comics. Captain General. Noun. A very high rank in the British Army, held by an important person who is not a soldier. The Captain General of the British Army was thinking of including an F-35 fighter jet in the army. Cashier. Verb. Cashier somebody means to make somebody leave the army, navy, etc., because they have done something wrong. If any officer commits crime in the army, authority likely cashiers him or her from the post. Catapult. Noun. A weapon used in the past to throw heavy stones. Children still shoot things at birds with catapults in the villages of Bangladesh. Cavalry. Noun. The part of the army that fought on horses. The part of the modern army that uses armored vehicles. In some armies, cavalry is still seen to show guard of honor to the highly respected state guests. Ceasefire. Noun. A time when enemies agree to stop fighting, usually while a way is found to end the fighting permanently. Israel and Iran agreed to a ceasefire after 12 days of war. Chief Master Sergeant. Noun. An officer of middle rank in the U.S. Air Force. A Chief Master Sergeant was called upon to explain the recent event. Chief Petty Officer. Noun. An officer of middle rank in the Navy. A chief petty officer can also do the job of a higher rank admiral when he is assigned to the duty. Chief technician. Noun. An officer of middle rank in the British Air Force. A chief technician is a dedicated person who is always trying to repair and install utility devices of the building. Clandestine. Adjective. Done secretly or kept secret. Some files of the state are clandestine, as leaking information can be heavily damaging to the system. Clash. Verb. Clash. With somebody. Means to come together and fight or compete in a contest. Sometimes. Some countries are clashing together as if they are in a competition with violences. Cluster bomb. Noun. A type of bomb that throws out smaller bombs when it explodes. In war. To destroy infrastructures, some belligerents throw cluster bombs. CO. Abbreviation. Commanding officer. An officer who commands a group of soldiers, sailors, etc. The CO of the U.S. Army commanded an air fighter jet pilot to carry out an attack on Iran nuclear facilities. Colonel General. Noun. An officer in charge of all the regiments of an army. The Colonel General of the U.S. Army was commanded to set their warship out to the Middle East. Color Sergeant. Noun. An officer of middle rank in the Royal Marines. In the United Kingdom, Color Sergeant is a middle rank post under the Royal Marines. Combative. Adjective. Ready and willing to fight or argue.